there, just so I have something to look at. And so at this point, we're really not going to use this. I mean, because we have taken off into our own direction. Okay. So, but still, sometimes it just makes you feel better to have something to look at. So actually, if I was painting this again from fresh, instead of having this, I'm going to have that dark picture of the lilies that I had, of the actual lilies, because that was kind of the inspiration. And so that's where I would go with that. Okay, so I'm going to use this for wedding, and I've got to have the quinacridone. And you can see how juicy these colors are, and you can see these mixtures are all of a kind of strong tea, but not too dark, because they are staining colors for the most part. Stay. Thank you. So I'm going to wet this. Okay, now I have removed that masking there. And I need to be aware of that because on these other ones I painted over the tails. So I need to know, yes, I have removed that. So when I wet this, I want to go around that. And I also need to, for the most part, go straight up that line. Now, it does not bother me too terribly much to cover some of that tea, but I'm going to keep the most of it. Let me get a nice clean paper towel, because if I go over the line, I'm going to want to get it off as quickly as possible. Thank you for helping me. So as you can see, I'm painting in some of my letters and I'm painting around some of my letters. I really actually do like the 4 and part of the K. I like my 4s that way. There's an ancient artist, I'm sorry I can't remember the name, but he taught that you paint a upside down 4 on your background. And I can see it in my mother-in-law's paintings. And it's kind of like the funniest thing. Oh yes, there's the upside down 4 in the background. And I'm like, how did her brain even conceive of, okay, I'm gonna put this upside down 4 in there? I can't even imagine.
And so what was the purpose of that?
It was just to get your mind, I think, to think of something else. And it kind of helped free you up. I don't think it would free me up very much.
I was thinking about Fine Waldo.
Right, right. Okay, so I'm bringing this up and off, okay? And you can do a sky the same way, where you like pre-wet and you bring it up and off, so you're gonna soften off, okay? So I'm gonna put just a little bit of yellow in, not too much, real quick. This is the, our real bright Hansa yellow. So instead of starting over here where one would think I'm just bringing that yellow off and glazing it because I do like it. Mm-hmm. And now I want more over here. So even though I put that in, I can soften it off by wetting my brush and drying my brush and make sure that's going to soften in. Okay, so that's called softening off, when you add something and it's kind of going to be a hard edge, and then you wet the brush and dry the brush and just soften it off. So that way it's going to blend in perfectly. And I'm also giving this enough time to soak in a little bit more. So this is my quinacridone gold. And all this is real wet, so it's gonna run and it's gonna soften and make that beautiful watercolor appearance that we really want, because ultimately this is all just background. And so that's the beauty of painting it wet, where I wet it, that you're going to, even though you're doing the colors, you're going to get all soft edges. So we have a tendency to paint in hard edges sometimes, in kind of like an acrylic look to it. And then sometimes we just paint all too light. Right now this is the all too light stage. I'm pulling into the yellow and letting it run out. So that's the most of the Quin. Add a little bit down here. And then this is the quinacridone rose. I've got to stir it back up because it can settle. And so I'm going to drop this in and see, you can see it couldn't help but do soft edges because it's all running out. And if you're not getting soft edges, you need either water before or water after, where you're softening off, to get those soft edges.
Acrylic won't ever give you that kind of pleasure.
And
Is it just sits?
acrylic doesn't give me the soft edges.
But it doesn't, I mean, when that does that, that's just magic.
Yeah.
It's like a sunburst.
It is
That's what I
bursting.
wanted to do.
Yeah,
That's
color
why I wanted to
bursting.
do watercolor.
Like it.
And in the background, we're looking for out of focus and soft edges. So I'm just painting around what's there because I want to keep it. Now, if I didn't want to keep it, I could just paint through it, right? But if I paint through it, I don't want to make just a straight line. So I would want to maybe soften off part of that so it's kind of curved in. So here I'm just going to kind of follow this, what we have in the under part, the underglazing. And a lot of your artists, even in oils, underglaze. And they will underglaze, especially with yellow, because like y'all were talking about, the yellow really makes the other colors pop and sing. And so they would underglaze with yellow, and then they knew, like Deborah was talking about, they knew exactly what colors are going to do what. So you would only underglaze with yellow if you wanted green, not necessarily blue. Oops, wrong color.
Is that to keep the warmth in the color, or is there another purpose that yellow serves?
The
So it
yellow,
doesn't get muted.
the yellow really makes it bright. It really makes it, the colors sing, and makes it bright and glow. Glow is probably the word that I really want.
That's why you want white and yellow flowers in your garden, because even at night,
They still
Look at there. I had no
I
idea.
didn't e-
That's news to me.
As I look at what you've done, it looks like somebody took those calla lilies and just laid them down. When they did, it created this out like that to the yellow that blows out. This is just brightness. That's what I see.
Well, and that's good, because art should speak to your heart and should make it should give you that impression and that, it gives me a feeling.
It's getting warm in here.
Okay, we can turn the air back on in just a second. Let me
Sorry,
finish.
you wanna finish.
Let me finish.
'Cause that'll dry out too fast.
Yeah, let me finish this, and I am sorry.
No, it's okay.
Because I
It's
did turn the air off, yes, I understand.
just- It's like a hot flash.
Your own private little summer.
Yes, that's right.
That's your energy. Now you're supposed to go do push-ups and run around the block. That's all that is.
Okay.
So I'm painting through this P. So see how it's ending and then it's not on that other side? So I don't want to leave that like that. I want to paint through it
And the
And-
continuation that you got there, the pink and the yellow, that's really pretty.
and bring some of that color. And so I paint through on top and beneath.
Yeah.
And I'm getting to where I need to get away from it to see it. And by that, I just mean that I need to get further away to see the effect that it's having.
Do you ever need to re-wet again, Rebecca? Like if you, like
Yes.
you're working on the bottom and then the top dried?
Yes,
So you would re-wet that?
yes.
Okay.
And let me stand. So I'm looking for purple.
There you go.
So I just added the quinacridone to the blue just to put a little purple in here.
It's pretty. Very pretty.
Okay, so that's too dry.
Right.
So exactly what you said. You have two choices. One is to soften it off, and you probably just gonna have to leave that alone. So I could get away with it. Could get away with coming in there and doing it, but I would generally re-glaze, okay? And that means I would re-wet it and do a whole nother layer, because these colors do not bloom very much because they're all staining colors. But for the most part, that's what you're trying to avoid. And of course a bloom would be okay on this, but I'm just putting in the color and kind of softening it off. And I would come in and do another glaze to catch some purple in that bottom. So that's it for the glazing in the background. Other than if you see something that you want to soften, the brush is wet and dry, and you're just going to pull up, and that's going to soften it in. Okay, so it's kind of dark, equally as dark as the other side. So both of the sides are lighter, and the reason you want this outside lighter is because ultimately it is background, and you don't want this to become the center of attention. So the lilies are the center of attention, this is background, and of course people are going to look at it, but you don't want it to become overpowering. So going off the edges of any painting, you need to fade out. So even if I were doing say an oak tree, and there's a big oak tree right here, I'm gonna fade off at the top. And your eye, it's kind of hard to say, but your eye, when you do focus on one thing, it is fading out as you're going to the top. Okay, so stop the video, please, dear.